Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the stream. We are live. How's it going, everybody? It's not gonna be a Tuesday without some packs being ripped, so of course we're gonna rip some packs. We're gonna be opening this box of Super Slam, and then after that we're gonna do a buy list live. Sorry, not a buy list, a market minute live. And we're going to talk about banned and restricted and stuff like that. I already see in chat Static is missing his root-bound carapaces. I'm with you, bud. I miss him too. I miss him too. But let's jump into it. How is everybody's week in Flesh and Blood? Oh. Yeah. Actually, we're just gonna leave that alone and call that good. I think everything's good. Emma Fang main again. Once again, back to Fang, eh? I think Fang's probably not looking so bad right now. Yeah, big BNR, early BNR. Man, we got that just randomly on a Sun. Actually, I don't think it was early technically, right? It was supposed to come out during the calling. But let's open some Super Slam. See what we can find. What do we got back here? We got a Villainous Pose and a Super Rare. Warriors eating good. Yeah. I bet you they're in pretty good shape right now, especially Fang. Yeah. It'll be interesting. I'm excited to see how the RTN season plays out. They said they were going to shake up things. They're definitely shaking things up, eh? Which I think is a pretty good thing. I'm not complaining about it. I mean, my boy Florian took some strays. I mean, obviously Florian he's just a strong deck, so it's like not the worst thing in the world. I don't think that he got hit. I don't think they really I don't think they were really too worried about Florian taking some strays. But that's okay. If they're getting more decompose. Kasai clearly didn't need the ban to get the W. Yeah, I mean, that's like I always find that funny. I mean, obviously it gets the banned and restricted gets equated to the results of, I think it was like a 275 player calling, which is a big event, but we have to remember that the banned and restricted more applies to the RTN season, right? That's going to affect more players around the world. And the last local season we had, it was big three, right? And I think there was some pushback, and it was just going to be stale if the RTN season was just those big three heroes again. So I agree with that overall sentiment. Yeah, I doubt the Scorpion. They said that in the article that they wanted Decompose to be like you have to take damage to play an offensive threat with Decompose. I think was kind of their outline. Yeah, I mean, because of the dev talk, right? It was very yeah, they were very clear about their goals with the BNR, which is fine. I think it's cool. Obviously, I haven't played Gravy in a little while. I might pick him back up. With Syndra kind of being hurt. Ooh, a back spin thrust. We might be talking about this card a little bit later. So stay tuned for that, for the market minute. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think in certain instances they should be just shaking up the meta with the BNR. I think in the past they've kind of refrained from it. Actually, I think there's been metas that have been exactly like this, where there's like some viable like A tier decks that were like fighting for position with the S tier decks, and they just let it ride. And I think interest, I think interest wanes quite heavily when you do that, right? Because it's like if you don't play Syndra, Gravy, or Verdance, like maybe you're just like whatever, I won't show up for the RTN. But now Kasai has legs, obviously. Fang, Heyo is back on the table in a big way, I think. Yo, let's go legendary. Gauntlets of the Tyrannical Rex. So who's Tyrannical Rex, dude? We gotta get this guy as a hero, eh? Goon Battery. Man, so I got the draft Super Slam again, and I kind of like drafting Super Slam. Although, it's... it feels somewhat easy dinosaur set. I mean, I don't know. It's because no one practices it, right? And no one's, like, put any time into it. So it just, like, it's felt a little bit easy just to force KO. Dio is also very strong, yes. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the new meta shakes out, because I think there's still some heavy hitters, you know, that were untouched. I don't think it shakes up. It like obviously pulls down the top decks quite a bit. It like definitely puts them in the mix of that like A tier mix with the Cilio and Dio and KO and yeah. So hey, I'm all for it if all of a sudden there's like 5 viable decks, right? Depending on your meta. That'd be very cool. That would be super cool. Like 10? Yeah, you're probably not wrong, Static. What are the hits from this set? Show of Strength. That's the end of the list. That's not true. That's not true. Actually, it might be. This set did not really... This set did not hit the mark. I don't think that's unfair to say. Although there was an RKO in the top 8 this weekend, so that's pretty cool. I think KO, RKO is like... He's the Miari Pallades. Yes, of course. I think KO is kind of just waiting for his time. Ooh. I don't want to give up too much of like spoiler alerts here, but you know, I don't know if I've talked about it on the Market Minute when Super Slam came out, but the cold foil M's are probably something worth paying attention to at this point. We'll take a look at that and see where they're at a little bit after this box, eh? Dude, you guys get to get blasted by the whiteness of TCG player in the live Market Minute, eh? Put on the sunglasses, folks. It's like I was setting up the stream and I was like, oh my god, this site is so like, it's so bright. That's what we call a tease. Yes, yes. That is a tease. I mean, I'm not going to be mad at an L and a, yo, show of strength. Let's go. I'll take a show of strength. I'll say it. Mm-hmm. Oh. All right, couple packs to go. Maybe there's something else in here. Yeah, box is great now. I mean, as far as Super Slam boxes go, we're doing all right. You know? Honestly, it's been a minute since we've seen a set like this. I think this set is... I think this set could probably be decent over time, but unfortunately, sometimes if you don't have that like strong start out the gates, you kind of, you know, the next set comes out and then the next set, and then, you know, it just kind of gets lost in the shuffle, I think. Crowd goes wild. Marvel Olympia equipments. Yeah, that's interesting. That is an interesting case because like Olympia is not super playable in CC. Obviously in Sage and Silver Age you can't play that equipment. So like there's just some like that's like might just be like collector hype there, which is interesting. My that's funny. Yeah, that Cries of Encore EA is nice, man. I think the cold foil Majestics in this set are pretty cool. Obviously, this one has a little bit too much text to be the micro text box. Taking the bait. What else we got here? All right, we got what, 2 packs left? All right. Sure. Ooh, reprint snag. Snag-a-rooney. I forgot that was reprinted in this set, actually. Smashing Ground. All right, last pack. I hope they do equipment sets like that in the future for other heroes. Yes, yes. Gallo seeing any play? No. No, he's not. I think he needs a very specific meta to see Gallo being played in Gravy Bones. Got another super rare here and a rainbow foil. All right, we got a cold foil M. Those are not easy to hit. And we got a gauntlet. Don't get to play limited until summer. Yeah, that is kind of it. That is kind of interesting. I mean, I guess Sage is kind of like, yeah, it's definitely not limited, but it's a 20 health format. But yeah, that's yeah, not a lot of draft, man. I've drafted this set 2 times and I've had fun with it. So I don't think I'm running out to like draft it over and over and over again. I guess I will admit. But all right, as the thumbnail promised, guys, we're gonna do some chit-chatting. And some there. Some buy list live. Okay, so we've talked about it a little bit, but we got the BNR that came out. We got Rootbound Carapace's band. We got Orb Weaver Spinneret, yellow and blue is banned. We got High Seas, Wrath, and Brand. Obviously, you guys have probably seen 15 videos of content creators talking about these cards and what they do to the meta and all that jazz. So yeah, we don't have to spend a ton of time on this, but I did want to bring it up because it does kind of you know, what do I want to say? It kind of puts things into a little bit of perspective, you know, and honestly, I'm not going to sit here and say that I know what is going to happen, but it definitely switches the meta up, and we know in Flesh and Blood, when the meta gets switched up, the market follows suit, because what's playable is what's expensive, right? Poor Fi catching strays. Yeah. We'll see. They said some of this could come back as well. I would imagine Wrath is probably gone forever. Maybe Brand is not coming back though, or is coming back. But yeah, so what's this do, right? This takes down the top 3. There's a lot more viable decks for RTN season. RTN season starts in first week of January, actually. I think I have an RTN like January 3rd or something. So like my RTNs start right away. Top will be shocked if only Rootbound Red comes back. I think they might actually. I think it would be maybe inverse, like yellows and blues comes back. It just depends on how strong the decompose cards are in compendium. Like, I understand that they wanted, like, they didn't want decompose to be defensive, and that was mentioned. So maybe they never come back. Only maybe, like, I could see yellows coming back, right? Possibly. But you know, if the decomposed tools are like real nice, I could see Rootbound just staying banned. But yeah, so with that being said, we can jump into the TCG player and like let's walk through this a little bit. Obviously, my big head's in the way some, but I did want to start off the market minute here talking about, and I kind of alluded to it while we are opening this product, and I think it was Terry that mentioned, and if I know Terry, he probably meant it with a little bit of a smirk. What's the hits in this set? So I have it sorted here by Majestic, and what are the hits in Super Slam right now? So, Show of Strength, 37 listings, $5. I think this card could see a little bit of a bump, especially now that KO could be more of a hero that is coming into focus. It's obviously a very good card. Reinar was actually showing up, and you know, just showing up here and there. He does have that sweet new Armory deck, and it seemed to have moved the needle a little bit. People are like actually trying to play him. So I think Show of Strength at $5 is probably not. It's like, I guess over. Okay, let me back up for a second. Why are we looking at all of Super Slam Majestics? Because I think there's a lot of good value here, and this is value. And like all my market minutes are set up this way, and maybe I don't say it enough. I think we used to say it on the buy list a lot, but this is not like speculation corner. Okay, this isn't like, okay, we're gonna buy every one of these cards. This is, if you're a new player, if you're coming into the game, like I try to find cards that are like value, that you should be like picking up now, and just kind of put some context to that, right? And Show of Strength is one of those cards. If we pop this one open here, Put it in near mint. Look at the normal. Obviously, there's no. I guess yeah, there's no rainbow foil version. You know, 6.99. So like we must have had some lightly played versions at $5. But you got play sets here. We're looking at it's coming down in price. We got 90, or this says 90. There's 1,000 sold. That's quite high for a Flesh and Blood card. Well, yeah, I mean, right now, if you can get if you don't have these and you want to play some brutes, you're gonna need these. And I think at $6.99, that's not a bad price. And that's really Super Slam in general, right? I think as we get closer to Compendium, there's some other cards in Super Slam that are just I think fall into line with these. That's not the one I want to talk about. It's actually, I want to talk about Backspin Thrust. Obviously, this is the cold foil, which at $21.98. This one I think is a pretty good deal. The card I just pulled, $28.99. The cold foil, even the cold foil hard to hit cards are fairly, if that's your jam, fairly affordable at this point. These cards, if these heroes that play these become playable, the cold foils are going to disappear quite quickly. Felling Plow. Plow is, I don't think, I have Plow here. So if we put this near mint, normal, so $1.99 for Plow now. Weirdly, another 1,000 of these sold. Maybe that was just a coincidence. But yeah, we're sitting at 98 cents for Plows. Obviously, if you have any inclination to play Earth Heroes, pick these up now, guys. And it's a lot. And I guess that's what I'm saying, right? $1.60, under $2 for Light Up the Leaves. People are really putting Plow in exchange for their Tooth Fairy teeth. That's funny. But there's some cards in here too, and I guess let's find Backspin Thrust. Like Angelic Attendant, maybe that card when Compendium comes out is like a card. It's it doesn't have any, it has no motion right now, right? Bloodflow's Blade. Again, these cards are there's a lot of them out there. Backspin Thrust, here it is, 93 cents. I think Puffin is yeah, she's not a contender. She's maybe not even high B tier right now. But if Compendium comes out and she gets 2 or 3 good cards that that untap cogs and tap cogs, and she starts really having a good suite of cards that function well, this is a card that 93 cents. Yes, there's a lot of them out there. There's still a lot of Super Slam, but just grab them now, right? Because you're probably saving, if it goes to $5, $6, $8, right? If she becomes super meta or super playable. Same thing with Catch of the Day, Marland. It's just, I think with Compendium, there's a lot of chances for heroes to gain power very quickly. And with that being said, I think there's some of these cards that are very strong. Bloodfowl's Blade, Backspin Thrust, Catch of the Day, Hunter or Hunted, right? Heroes and supplemental sets can gain power very quickly, right? They get in rares and commons too, right? Suites of cards. So there's, things can move around quite quickly. And I think overall, I don't want to spend too much time on just looking at the Majestics from Super Slam, because I do have some other stuff to talk about. But it's yeah, just be aware that these cards are like $1 right now. And if you don't have them and you've kind of just said, oh, I'm going to skip Super Slam, I would say it's probably a really good time to start like picking up your play sets of cards that you might play in the future, right? If you're a Guardian guy, you like the idea of playing some Lyeth, leave them hanging at 50 cents. Yeah, just grab them now, save yourself a couple bucks. Like, I'm not saying this is like, none of these cards are going to like $20-$30 a piece because of how many there are. But you can't beat $1 a Majestic at this point, so just keep an eye on that. I think it's like kind of overall good advice at this point, because there'll be one of these cards that you'll be like, damn, I wish I picked that up at 79 cents. And now it's $8 a piece. And yeah, it's, $24 for the play set with a couple bucks shipping, but it could have been $3, $4, right? So keep an eye on these cards. And yeah, because I think it's like overall pretty easy to skip Super Slam. So get in there, grab them now. And that's kind of where that's at overall, right? Just don't let all the compendium hype let you forget about Super Slam, right? So, all right, let's move on to some other here. Fang is getting bad matchups, nerfed, the Through getting banned. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be moving around for sure. Let's jump. Okay, so Show of Strength, we kind of looked at this one. There's 90 of them. Again, this is a card that I could see being maybe one of those. I mean, obviously it's $7 compared to $1 for these other cards. This card could move, right? This card I could see going to $10. Again, it's 90 of them on here still. So there's 30 play sets. I don't know if that, sometimes these numbers aren't correct, but this looks like there's probably 90. Yeah, there's a lot. But yeah, it goes to $8 like almost instantly, right? And it goes to 10, like 3 or 4 more play sets, right? So Show of Strength will be 15 in like 4 days. Yeah. Again, I think Super Slams is a little weird because I think a lot of people are just like, I refuse to sell cards at $1. I refuse to list a Show of Strength at $7. So I think there's probably some inventory holding back, and that always gets weird. But yeah, if you don't have these, pick them up now, essentially. Let's jump to the next one. Hey, have you guys hello have you guys seen Prismatic Leyline lately? Holy smokes, man. I've talked about this card a little bit over the last year or so. I think I was like super early on this one and was like, guys, this might be really good. Pick them up now, like a year ago when they were like $1 or $2. They're under $5. But yeah, look at this. So there is currently, we got this thing sorted at near mint normal. There's currently 8 copies Prismatic Leyline non-foil on TCG Player right now. Yeah, see, this says 26, but that's not correct. Looking at the last 3 months, Gravy was definitely pushing this thing. I don't think Gravy stops playing this. I think this is kind of just in his kit. I think you kind of have to play this for your big spike turns. I think Gravy, this might take a bit of a hit just because it is Gravy might go out of favor. Slippy playing this, interesting. I guess I never realized Slippy played this beforehand, but yeah, I guess he could definitely play it depending on what kind of deck he's running. But yeah, there's this price, even if inventory comes on, this price is gonna stick quite a bit, especially with only 8 copies going, right? So $39. If you have any extra of these, I see Topo is saying he picks him up for $5. Yeah, yeah, this is moving and grooving. So keep an eye on this one, especially we're like going into RTN season, right? Speaking of Slippy, the next card I want to talk about, and I guess they kind of link up and I put them next to each other, is Part the Mistveil cards and Persuasive Prognosis. So the Slippy Armory deck, and then also the BNR. This was happening way before the BNR, but once again, let's go near mint normal. We currently have 4 copies on TCG Player. And you know, we're just getting to a point where like cards from sets that are LL'd, like this, like Part the Mistveil is completely LL'd. Do I want to open? Do you want to open Part the Mistveil boxes? No. I mean, I think there's a little bit, there's like obviously this card, now Prismatic Leyline. Some of the Marvels, the Chi, I think are like doing pretty well. Silver Age, obviously. Enigma is one of the starter decks, so she's obviously getting cards, and she's going to be a competitive deck right out the gate. So Weakest Link. Weakest Link is interesting. I think Weakest Link gets reprinted sooner than later. I won't say it's in Compendium, but Weakest Link now is like definitely up there on the reprint list, if you ask me. It's a generic, it's an older card, it's from a set that is LL'd. So I think that is a card that is definitely probably on their list. I think it gets next year. I think if it's not in Compendium, I would start looking at gem packs for that one, or the new tournament deck pack, or the tournament deck packs, the tournament packs you get. So those packs you get for playing in a Calling or a Battle Hardened or whatever. I could see them slipping some in there to like kind of bump up the quantities a bit. So yeah, Weakest Link is one of those ones where I can't really say you know what's, you know, I would say that one's probably going to get reprinted soon. But yeah, Prognosis here, man. Slippy Armory decks are doing their thing again. Armory decks used to do this a lot, and I think the Slippy deck, I'm not a Slippy guy. Sound off in chat, I guess, if you are a Slippy guy, but I think the Slippy deck put in some pretty good work for him, right? So wonder what the next Mastery Pack hero will be. Yeah, I don't know. It's not for a while, right? It's like late next year, so we have some time on that one. Mastery Pack Wizard, oh my god. But yeah, Prognosis, if you got some extra ones of these, I would say, you know, maybe consider doing some trades, whatnot with that. So it looks like I got Soul Shank twice. So next one up here is Everbloom Life. So if we take a look at this one, this one's kind of interesting. This one's been through the ringer a bit. So we look at the 3-month snapshot. You see 872 is the low, $43 is the high. This card, Earth Heroes are definitely going to be kind of on the back burner, I think, right? We've already talked about it. Rootbound Carapace is actually a substantial hit. And I think they're going to be backburnered for a little bit, and they're definitely going to be backburnered for the RTN season, right? It's not to say that like Verdant or Florian can't win RTNs. I think they still will. But at $15, this might not, like, this is like a card that I would put on my watch list if you don't have them. because if the decomposed cards that come out, bring Verdance and Florian right back again, or Jarl can get some supports, right? I believe Jarl plays this as well. Um, $15. Maybe if it gets under $10, you scoop a play set for yourself, and then you'll be happy because I think we've seen this card peak when Verdance was like doing her thing at $43. Just a thing to keep an eye on. You can see it here. This card goes quick, right? And again, it's from High Seas, so pretty new card, right? So just keep an eye on this one. When I saw it at 15, I was like, okay, maybe this one comes down a little bit, and there's a buying opportunity in the future. If we look at it, there's a lot of stock here that doesn't move the price a lot, right? We see $15.36, and this is like, well, this is 15 plus $1, so 16.36. I mean, it doesn't get back to 20 for quite some time, right? So that tells me as Earth heroes become less popular, inventory is going to stack up on this one. We're going to start to see this low price get moving down to get them sold, right? So keep an eye on this one. Channel Lightning Valley. So Acilio is like probably one of the better decks in the format. I think he was like one of the best decks already, right? He was tearing up Worlds. Obviously, he didn't tear up Worlds itself, but he was showing up in the callings, Battle Hardens, things like that. I think he's shown up in some callings since then, even. I think he was the number 1 seed in Seattle. This card's $14.50. There's 78 of them. We got a low of $10, a high of 15. So yeah, we're sitting towards that high of 15. This is another one that I would say I could see it moving for ITN season, especially if Cilio pops off in the first week. I could see this card moving right as people try to win the next weeks of RTN season. But this one has a long-term angle to it as well. We know Aurora's coming back. Again, Compendium is going to support Lightning Heroes, which right now is only Acilio, but we know Aurora's coming back mid-year. This card's too good, right? It's going to be played 3 of, and no matter what they do with the new Aurora, it's like, I would be shocked if this card can't find its way back into Aurora 2.0. So, if we pump this out to like a year, this is kind of what I'm talking about. We bump this out to March, and this card's $32, right? And again, this was back Aurora's heyday. Acilio, I think, was just a lot of love for him. But, when Aurora's pulling, when she was like the top dog, this card was $30. Something to think about. We're at half that price right now. Yeah. Think about that a little bit. There's a lot of stock too, I want to see Concuss version for Go again. Oh, okay. Buy this card now. Yeah. I mean, at $14.50, if you want to play Acilio in your RTN seasons, I think you'd probably be okay at $14.50. But yeah, this one's kind of a long-term thing, right? If you never picked them up because they were $30, right? And you were just like, no, I'm good, I'll wait. It might be your time now, So definitely one keeping an eye on. All right, let's jump to some other ones here. Oh, this one scrolled down. Quick dodge flexors. So this is kind of like I've been thinking about doing a market minute on just like how reprints are already affecting the market. And every time I started doing it, it just didn't feel I don't know, it just didn't feel right to me. I couldn't get like the angle right on an episode, so I thought, let's talk about it live. And I think this is a little bit better format to like talk through some of the reprints here. So yeah, quick dodge flexors. we're sitting at $99.80. Low sale price was 110. High sale price is 153. So we've already seen like a $50 drop on these. I believe these were announced last weekend, not this weekend. Joke of a poll is which art's better, new or old. Um, my take on that, Topple, would be I think the new art looks too cartoony. I don't think it looks bad. I just think it looks more cartoony than these. Just my take. I think I'm a fan of the old art on this one. Although I really need to see the Antiquity border in person. I have mixed feelings about that border right now. I really want to see those cards in person to like make my final judgment on that new border. But yeah, as you can see here, quick dodge flexors are obviously going down. Wait for the reprint on these. Obviously, don't buy quick dodge flexors right now since they are being reprinted. Unless you just like absolutely have them, want them, and need them for RTN season because you're trying to win, then I guess, yeah, you gotta have them then. But yeah, it looks yassified. That's funny. Speaking of reprints, this one surprised me a little bit actually. Shelter from the Storm is already down to $59. Just $59 is, obviously it's like surprising but not surprising at the same time. I'm a little surprised just because if you look at the high sale price over the last 3 months is 137, which is, we're 50% drop already. Obviously we started to see this fall quite dramatically around Worlds. Here's Worlds, $100. Now it's down to 68, down to 59. Let's see. Yeah, 8 of them. Yeah, it's kind of just like a race to the bottom. That card being $100 is crazy. I mean, Syndra taking a massive hit also. So there's like 2 things that are going to happen to this card. So you got the reprint, which is going to reprint it pretty heavily, I would imagine. And then also Syndra taking a hit. Also, Mario taking a hit. Like Mario got 6 flicks taken out of his deck, right? Because he would do the Orb Reverse Spinneret trick. And you just can't flick the dagger if you can't re-equip it. So there's like some unpreventable damage taken out of Mario's deck even. Yeah, so I think this card, the overall playability of this card at the time, especially after for this RTN season, and then, depending on how Compendium works, I think the like utility of this card has gone down as well of it being reprinted. So it's already down to $59. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about, this is a little bit of an older reprint. Didn't really single out one of these, but I thought this was interesting. So the Arc Command and Conquer is now sitting at $63. The Hunted Command and Conquer, which I think is the better art. I've been told that maybe I'm in the minority on that one, sitting at $80, and the white border sitting at $60. 60 CNC is 60 reasonable. Yeah, I think it's reasonable. It's a quite strong card. I could see this slipping further. Just depending. I think it's interesting that they're because this was like kind of the first time they redid the art on a reprint, if you think about it, in a sense. I think it is. I want to say it's the first time. And it's interesting to see that the Hunted version did hold some more value. Obviously, we're looking at 14 listings versus 86, so there is quite a quantity difference there, and that really might be kind of pushing the hunted, especially with the hunted being kind of an I think under printed set to a sense, so those Command and Conquers are a little bit more rare. I don't know. And then you got that Fabled sitting out there at 825. Oof. But yeah. So I think Command and Conquer is like, well, yeah, I suppose that's true. They have redone it twice. You know, I kind of put the Fabled Command and Conquer in its like own, like, so, like its own bin. I wouldn't call that a reprint in a sense. I don't know. It's weird. Like, technically, I probably shouldn't put it in its own bin, but it was such a hard pull, man. Oh, that was crazy hard. So if we jump back, we go here. We just go best-selling Majestics. You know, when I look at this, I guess to like kind of wrap up the stream a little bit. Sometimes this makes sense. Sometimes I don't know if I trust TCG Player. There's some things that are just kind of weird. But a lot of these make sense. You know, there's our Prismatic Leyline that we looked at, our Persuasive. Pain in the Backside also might take a little bit of a hit here, right? Sindra can't make things Draconic as easily anymore, so maybe Pain in the Backside, she just doesn't get to run as freely. Same with like Ravenous Rabble, things like that. Loan Shark, I could see we took more gold away from Gravy, so maybe Loan Sharks go from like 1 or 2 in Gravy's stacks up to 3. I don't know. See, the thing that this is why I kind of scratch my head is like, why is Shelter of the Storm on the front page of best selling? Because I can tell you what, the extended art is not one of the best selling cards in Fab, because there's just not that many to be selling, you know. Fearless Confrontation still sitting at $24.69. That's interesting. I think it's just because there's not a lot of Guardian Mastery pack out there. Codex of Inertia has been popping. Yes, Codex of Inertia. I did that. We looked at that on the Market Minute a couple weeks ago. Yep. There's just not a lot of these. Scared of the day when Codex of Inertia gets close to the price of Codex of Frailty. I mean, Codex of Frailty is like $30, right? It's just with Inertia, and I believe it's still the same thing, is that there's just not a lot of them. I mean, yeah, you got 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 copies on TCG Player right now. That's just not a lot of copies of this card. Outsiders was 1 million years ago. That's how she's gonna go. Outsiders, you know, thinking about this right now, I could see Outsiders being a set that kind of gets that gym pack reprint treatment, like Tails. You know what I'm saying? You know how they, like, in the last gym pack, they're just like, here's your Rampart, here's your, you know, they kind of just hit a couple of the key cards in the gym pack. That might happen with Outsiders, you know, just to catch them up, just to get a little bit more Codex of Inertias in the world, things like that. Keep that in mind. Oh yeah, right here, Codex of Frailty, $26.99. How the Mighty Have Fallen. Dude, Midas Touch, man. We talked about this. Oh, I gotta scroll down. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Midas Touch was one of those weird cards from High Seas that just didn't get printed like the rest of the Majestics. As you can see, there's 18 of them. I think this card is like working all on low quantities, because I don't think anybody plays this card, right? 34. This says 34 of them. normal. It's probably less than that, to be honest. Oh yeah, it's way less than that. 1, 2, 3, 6, 11 copies, topping out at $28. Oh, sorry. I can see things you guys cannot see. Topping out at $28 plus $12.99 shipping. So topping out at $40 for the last 2 copies. No, nobody except coping players played Midas. Yeah, this card is like, I don't know. So Gravy is so lacking gold right now. I don't know if it's a good idea to bring in gold again, or like give Gravy gold. But maybe with Chart being gone, taking away one of his high rolly pieces, maybe Midas Touch becomes a card. I don't know. If you don't have these and you think that, I don't know. I can't recommend buying these, honestly. I don't think, oh my God, this is such a tech card. I don't know. If it does become like a card, which I don't think it will, this card's going to the moon because there's literally 11 of them. Okay, let's get back to this. Overcrowded. I almost pulled this one out. I guess it's right here. Overcrowded is one of those cards that I would say at $4. It's a generic. It's super good. Maybe Gravy uses it to blow up his own ally. Whoa. Khan, you are cooking with gas right now, dude. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, wow, dude. That is desperate ass times for Gravy. I could only see myself doing that to Oyston. Because it's like, it's so hard to get him. I mean, yeah, maybe. Wait, no, Oyston costs 0, so you get no gold from him. So you have to blow up an ally that costs money. Wow. Yeah, dude. That is rough times if Gravy is blowing it up. Saber Bloodshed's $15, yep. Yeah, this card's just kind of like $15 to $25 all the time, right? Yeah, this card's fallen off quite a bit. Fang plays this card, so maybe RTN season brings this one back up a bit. Obviously, the assassins, things like that. High sale price in the last 3 months is $30. So yeah, you're looking at a little bit of a deal on this one. It did get down to $11.98 at some point. And it looks like more like 13, but not a lot on TCG Player either. Excluding this Japanese version, we're looking at 3, 4, 6, 9, 10. Yeah, that's pretty tight inventory on this one too. But all right, guys. Yeah, I'm going to call it here. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and kind of, you know, walking through some TCG Player with me. And you know, kind of chatting and stuff. I like it. But yeah, we're gonna be back. Actually, I can't. Next week is very close to Christmas, so stream is pending. We'll see how that goes. But again, thank you all for hanging out with me and going through the Market Minute live. It's a lot of fun. I like chatting about this stuff. So yeah, always game for it. But that's going to do it for me tonight, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll check you next time. Peace.